The story begins with a middle-aged man named Adam. He's a former inmate who's just been released on parole a few days ago. With nowhere to go, no family, and no relatives left, Adam turns to his old friend Steve, who lets him stay in a warehouse for a while. The next morning, Adam visits the local police station to file his mandatory parole report. Although he hasn't caused any trouble yet, the female officer firmly reminds him not to get involved in anything suspicious. Just one complaint or report could send him straight back to prison. After leaving the station, Adam heads to a small rented house, the place where his ex-wife now lives. He isn't there to see her, but to meet his son, who's now a teenager. It's been 13 long years since he last saw them. But his ex-wife, still resentful after all this time, refuses to let him near and tells him to leave immediately. Since Adam doesn't even know what his son looks like anymore, he asks Steve for help finding him. After being promised a bit of money, Steve agrees and takes Adam to a park. And there he is, Jimmy, Adam's son, now all grown up. As Adam watches his son from a distance, the weight of guilt settles in his chest. This is 5 pounds of pressure. Wanting to get close without revealing who he really is, Adam joins the basketball game Jimmy's playing in. When Jimmy gets shoved to the ground by another player, Adam rushes in to help him up and even passes the ball so his son can score. But Jimmy, frustrated and angry, throws the ball back at the opposing team, sparking a fight between them. Adam quickly steps in to break it up, clearly taking his son's side. One of the players punches Adam in the face. He could have fought back, but he doesn't. One wrong move could send him back behind bars, so he stays quiet, swallowing his pride. Jimmy, on the other hand, is left confused and angry, wondering why this stranger seems so weak. That night, Adam attends a small support group for people with troubled pasts. There, we finally learn the truth about him. Years ago, Adam took another man's life. It was a terrible mistake, one that destroyed his home, broke his family apart, and pushed everyone he loved away. But what hurts him the most is the lost time, the years he'll never get back with his only son Jimmy. Let's step away from Adam for a while and move to a young man named Mike. He's new to life on the streets, still figuring out how things work. We find him buying a gun from a bald gangster who tries to scare him by pointing the weapon straight at him just for fun. But Mike isn't acting on his own. He's running errands for his uncle, Sicky, a small-time dealer who sells all kinds of illegal goods, including drugs. And one of his regular customers happens to be Jimmy, Adam's son, who often buys from Sicky's crew. When Sicky hears that one of his men tried to intimidate his nephew, he doesn't let it slide. Together with his trusted assistant, he hunts the man down and beats him inside a car, making sure everyone knows not to mess with family. That night, Mike and Sicky meet a drug supplier named Madame Jamal. She's well-connected and always has new products to offer. Sicky's role is as a middleman. He buys drugs from suppliers and sells them to big dealers across the city, taking a cut from each deal. Madame Jamal introduces something new, pure heroin, highly profitable but extremely risky. Mike, still naive, shows interest right away, but Sicky shuts him down. He slams the table and warns him that this kind of product can ruin everything. After finishing with Madame Jamal, the two head to meet a local drug boss, one of Sicky's main clients. This man is brutal and feared by everyone. His cruelty is clear when he punishes one of his own men by taking out an eye for stealing money. Then the focus shifts to Eli, the younger brother of the man Adam killed 13 years ago. After hearing that Adam has been released from prison, old wounds resurface for him and his mother. Eli works as a construction laborer who often shows up late and gets scolded by his boss. Outside of work, he's close friends with Mike. The two share a dream of becoming musicians. They play in a small band and dream of touring big cities one day. But with the lives they're living now, that dream feels far out of reach. After meeting Mike, Eli goes to see his girlfriend, Lori, hoping to take her out for dinner. The two are known for arguing over the smallest things, and tonight is no different. In the middle of their drive, another fight breaks out, and Lori, frustrated and unwilling to listen, steps out of the car. Their dinner plans are ruined once again. The next day, Mike receives a task from his uncle, Sicky. He's told to buy drugs from a local gang. Too scared to go alone, Mike convinces Eli to come with him. When they arrive, Mike bangs on the door, and a room full of gang members turns to look. Trying to appear tough, Mike warns them not to mess with him, but with his awkward nerdy look, the gang bursts out laughing instead. On the way back, Mike vents about his situation. His uncle pays him little, even though the risks are huge. Feeling cheated, Mike starts forming a dangerous plan. He wants to buy heroin directly from Madame Jamal and sell it to a big dealer himself, keeping all the profit. It's reckless and risky, but in his mind, It's the only way to earn enough money to leave town and start a new life as a musician. That night, Eli visits Lori again, only to hear that she wants to break up. Being someone who never forces love, Eli quietly accepts her decision and walks away, heartbroken. Meanwhile, Adam sits alone at the park where his son Jimmy often hangs out. He's sketching a couple sitting together when Jimmy shows up, curious about the drawing. They talk about art for a moment, and Adam encourages him to try drawing the same thing. What Jimmy doesn't realize is that the picture is one he used to draw as a child. The moment is brief but meaningful, a quiet connection between father and son. Later that night, Jimmy keeps looking at the drawing they made together. When his mother, Donna, sees it, she freezes. She recognizes the style immediately. It's the same kind of drawing Adam used to make years ago. The truth comes out during a tense argument, and Donna finally admits that the man Jimmy met was his father. Still hurt after all these years, Donna forbids Jimmy from seeing Adam again, reminding him that Adam abandoned them for 13 years without a word or support. Adam, meanwhile, finally finds a job as a bartender in a small bar. On his first night, Mike walks in as a customer. The moment he sees Adam's face, he recognizes him as the man who killed Eli's brother long ago. Later that night, when Adam finishes work and heads home, Mike and his uncle's assistant corner him in the street. They want revenge, and the confrontation turns violent. Eli's week couldn't have been worse. It started when his mother suffered a heart attack and had to be rushed to the hospital. Earlier that day, she had seen Adam on the street, the man who killed her son years ago. The shock of that moment was too much for her to bear. But that wasn't the only blow Eli would face. Later, he discovered his girlfriend, Lori, with his best friend, Mike. The truth came out painfully clear. The reason Lori had broken up with him was because she had been seeing Mike behind his back. After Eli walked out, Mike made a promise to Lori. He would take her away from the city, start over, and chase his dream of becoming a musician. To make that happen, though, he needed money, and a lot of it. His first move was stealing his uncle's car. Together, Mike and Lori set their plan in motion. Just like he once told Eli, Mike planned to use his uncle's connections, Madame Jamal and the city's big drug boss. First, he visited Madame Jamal to buy some high-value, high-risk goods. Since he didn't have the money yet, he promised to return the next day with the full payment. Next, he met with the drug boss to pitch his deal. Mike claimed he had top-quality merchandise ready to sell, but he needed cash up front. As a guarantee, he offered his uncle's car as collateral if he didn't come back. Meanwhile, Adam tried once again to connect with his son. He found Jimmy at the basketball court, unaware that Jimmy already knew who he really was. Still angry over being abandoned for so many years, Jimmy stormed off without a word. Adam refused to give up. The next day, he approached Jimmy again at the park where he usually hung out with friends. Offering $50,000, Adam asked him to meet at the court. After some hesitation, Jimmy showed up. There, Adam opened up about everything. He told him that he wasn't a runaway father, but a man who had taken a life in a moment of anger and spent 13 years paying for it behind bars. Shaken, Jimmy went to his mother, Donna, to ask why she had never told him the truth. Donna admitted that she had hidden it from him all along, saying only that Adam was a liar who abandoned his family. She never mentioned the prison sentence or the tragedy that caused it. From that day forward, Jimmy decided he would see his father no matter what. Realizing she could no longer control her grown son, Donna finally gave her permission. Before they met, she called Adam, setting a few conditions but also apologizing for her harshness all these years. For Adam, that moment felt like a miracle. After years of regret and loneliness, he finally had hope again. That night, for the first time in a very long time, Adam felt truly happy. Now we return to Mike, who is walking with Lori. The next morning, the two of them are supposed to leave town and start a new life together. Before parting, Mike tells her to head to the airport first and wait there while he takes care of some unfinished business to secure the money they'll need for their future. Excited about what lies ahead, Lori tells her roommate about the plan, sharing how she's finally leaving everything behind for a fresh start. Her friend is happy for her and wishes her well. Meanwhile, Mike arrives at Madame Jamal's apartment building. Outside, a guard stops him, saying she's busy with an important meeting. Trusting his luck, Mike hands over the money and asks the guard to bring him the package they agreed on the day before. 30 minutes pass, but the guard never returns. Realizing something is wrong, Mike storms inside. What he finds confirms his fears. Madame Jamal isn't in a meeting at all. She's sitting comfortably, surrounded by her crew, laughing. Mike finally understands that this was a setup. She never planned to give him the goods. She only wanted his money. With a gun pointed at him, Mike is trapped and helpless. Desperate, he goes to see the drug boss he promised the product to, but he has nothing to show. The money is gone, the goods are gone, and his excuses mean nothing. The boss, furious at being tricked by a kid who doesn't know the rules, takes his uncle's car and threatens to kill him if the debt isn't repaid by morning.
I'm serious, I can't.
Out of options, Mike snaps. With nowhere else to turn, he starts robbing local stores one by one, hoping to collect enough cash before it's too late. At the same time, Eli makes his way to the bar where Adam now works. He's been waiting for this moment, ready to avenge his brother's death. The place is still full of customers, so Eli waits quietly for things to slow down. Inside, Adam is chatting with his old friend Steve, sharing how happy he is. For the first time in years, things are finally looking up. He's made peace with his ex-wife and is allowed to see his son again. But what Adam doesn't know is that across the room, someone is watching him closely, and that someone has no intention of letting him live to see another day. Not long after Steve leaves, Eli pulls out a gun and points it straight at Adam, leaving him frozen in confusion. When Eli explains who he is, Adam finally remembers. Eli is the younger brother of the man he killed years ago. Before anything else can happen, Mike suddenly bursts in, trying to rob the place. The timing couldn't be worse. Eli mistakes Mike's arrival as an attack, thinking he's there to kill him and take Lori for himself. Panic fills the room, and both men open fire. When the smoke clears, Mike lies dead with a bullet wound to the head. Eli is wounded too, hit in the leg but still alive. Wanting to end the chaos, Adam tries to calm him down. He offers to tell the police that Eli was only trying to help him during a robbery. As Eli keeps his gun raised, Adam begins to speak from the heart. He admits his deep regret, saying he can never undo what he did to Eli's brother. He talks about his son Jimmy, and pleads for Eli to understand that he's just trying to rebuild what's left of his life. But despite Adam's words, Eli pulls the trigger again, killing him instantly. News of the shooting spreads quickly. The police report says Adam died defending himself during a robbery. The story reaches Steve, Donna, and Jimmy, each crushed by the loss. Sicky hears it too. When he learns that his nephew Mike turned to robbery out of desperation to repay his debt to the drug boss, his rage takes over. Sicky and his assistant storm the boss's house and slaughter everyone inside. The act lands him behind bars. Lori waits at the airport, unaware that Mike will never arrive. Jimmy, who only just reconnected with his father, now faces another loss. And as grief turns to anger, he begins to think of revenge. In the end, the cycle of violence continues, feeding on itself with no end in sight.
So the moral of the story is if your life already looks like a disaster playlist, maybe don't add crime, love triangles, and surprise father issues on shuffle mode.